goodness.
It just feels good to clap my hands like that again. It's been so long since I've been on a live stream. Yeah. First of all, obviously, I've got to big up yourself, Matisse. You're actually the first live that I've had since I've come back from my long quote unquote hiatus. I apologize once again, people. There are priorities in life, unfortunately, that had to come before the channel. But we are working things out. We are currently, Guni is in negotiations with his company to free up some time. And quite frankly, at the minute, we are in the advanced stages, but my agent has advised me to keep, like, the done deal under wraps, yeah? So in time, you will know Secret Scout, Fabrizio, and Dave Ornstein, they will tweet it when the news is ready to be released. But gotta big up everybody in the chat first and foremost. Thank you very much for joining the channel. You get me? It's good to see you lot again. Smash the likes, smash the subscribe button as well. We are gonna get this channel back up and running. That is definitely the vision. That is definitely the dream. And who better to get this started than Matisse, man? Welcome back to the channel. How are you doing, my friend?
It's all kicking off, man. It's all kicking off. When you've been gone, we've been wreaking havoc around the place, and a lot of drama, a lot of battles. The last couple of days for me, bro, it's just been insane. It's just been so tiring, but there's just so much going on, man. Like the turns, the twists, you just don't know what's gonna happen next. And well, we do now, and that's Caicedo is locked in, and this Lavia. I know you've been pushing this Lavia one for a while. From the get go, you've been pushing this Lavia one. So I'm interested to see if this happens, bro. It's mad. It's really just mad. But we'll have to see.
Listen, we are just absolutely rattling every single body. Listen, man, I even saw a rumor. I knew it wasn't true, but a Liverpool account, they tweeted something like John Henry is thrown from the US so he can have direct conversations with the Premier League to investigate and look at Chelsea spending. I personally think it's nonsense, but it's actually got that far. But let's actually look at that. Both targets, actually. We'll start off, actually, do you know what? We'll start off with Lavia, since you are right. I've been advocating for this guy ever since he played his first game. Well, I wouldn't say that. Probably like 3 or 4 games into his first season at Southampton, I looked and I said, that's definitely a player. And then when he did what he did against us, that was an absolute masterclass performance. And then the goal that he scored to top it off as well, I was sold from that point. And he's just gone on to become better and better, developing strength. But then it got to a point where, you know, Chelsea were very interested in the player. During January, actually, we did bid 50 million for the player, although we knew Southampton were desperate to retain him because at the time they were fighting for survival in the Premier League. So why let go of their star man? And in that time between then, Liverpool thought that they could wriggle themselves in, talk to Romeo Lavia for many months, promise him the world, say, you know, there's a place for you in the first team. And this is where I think Liverpool massively dropped the ball, Matisse. Their pursuit for Caicedo was disrespectful in how they dealt with Lavia at the same time.
Facts.
Look at the difference of how Chelsea dealt with it.
I tweeted the same thing, bro.
Oh, swear down.
I tweeted it. Bro, when you look at it, we've never disrespected Lavia. We went in for Lavia before Liverpool did last summer on deadline day. And now we have Joe Shields as well. So we've got both. We've got the respect side, which is, listen, we've been after you for a long time. And now we've also got Joe Shields, who has basically brought him with him wherever he's gone. So Liverpool, they ain't going for Caicedo, and they ain't negotiating with Southampton and saying that, oh, we've only got, 45, we don't go 50, and then dropping 110 million. This is what I'm saying. Nobody can tell me that Liverpool ever planned to go for Caicedo, because there's no way. They didn't agree personal terms with the player. The manager, Klopp, had not spoken to the player. And it was after the bid of 48 million to Lavia from us for Southampton. That's when they responded. It was out of pure spite, and it was out of pure reaction. And it was out of pure, all right, you want to play games, let's play games. But at the end of the day, they never secured the personal terms, because if they had got, they're saying, oh, we were led astray and we thought we got encouragement. Come on, man. Come on. Let's not be silly now. Come on now.
Hold on. I'm getting messages that we're lagging again. Again, people are gonna be like, why don't you go back to streaming? Remember, I just got back to streaming. Just got back to streaming, but I'm gonna actually restart this stream. I'm gonna send you a link, Matisse, on
All right, cool.
StreamYard, and we're just gonna pick up and continue from there. But people, don't go nowhere. We're not gonna end this stream. We are gonna pick up from where we left off for sure. So stay tuned, Matisse. Just hold on and wait for the link, which I am currently creating now. Oh, actually, no, I don't even need to. I don't even need to. We could just invite guests, copy. And Matisse, you said this was going to happen as well, bruv. You said like these complicated
I did
software.
say.
Yeah, I don't know. So let's go back to StreamYard. It's going to be an absolute bog standard setup because I haven't even paid for that yet. So yeah, people, it's going to be like the old school kind of background. Hold on, let me see. Still lagging. Oh, yeah, still lagging. All right, restarting the stream now, people. We'll be right back.
Yeah.
Yes, people, we're back. Yeah, once again, powered by StreamYard. I did want to say before I jumped off the stream, big up Daniel, he's magic, who has jumped on the membership. You get me? Matisse. Hold on. You're saying the link doesn't work. Right. Hold on, Matisse. It was just a mistake on one of the letters in the link. But yeah, it's good to see all of you. While we wait for Matisse, let me just see who's in the chat. Throw out some big ups. Mix the Minerals, Medina, big up yourself. And as well, I will extend an olive branch. As much bad blood as I've had with Johnny, big up Johnny as well. He is absolute box office, regardless of differences. Nobody can deny here that Mr. Minerals himself is box office. So big up himself. Martins Akinola, big up yourself. Rue, big up yourself. Benjamin, bare people in the chat. Modern, Mark Dunn, big up yourself. Joey, big up yourself. David, Pierre, True Brew Clay, Andy and Guyan. Hey, man's got a Liverpool badge and he's saying big up the Chelsea. It is what it is, fam. Yeah, the more the merrier. Jack Henry, Santiago Munoz. Currently listening in the Lidl car park. Got to big up yourself, Mark Dunn, for doing so. Matisse is shameless. I don't know why you're saying that. I'm as shameless as anything, bruv. Many to Liverpool. It's not happening. It's definitely not happening. There are people in the place. Is the picture better as well? Because I know for a fact it's not my Wi-Fi. It's definitely not my Wi-Fi. There he is. Once again, people, apologies for the current setup. It is your bog standard background, but sometimes it's not about the visuals. It is about the content. Yeah, and you've got two elite content speakers on your hands. So we shall continue with the conversation. But where did we leave off? We were leaving off with Romeo Lavia. Were we talking about Joe Shield? Yeah. Right. So anyway, gone.
Yeah, just in terms of Liverpool, they've kind of, I think, to be honest, I don't think there's a lot of confidence from their side because obviously they had the groundwork done on Lavia, and they had agreed personal terms, and they were going up in increments. Basically exactly the same thing we were doing with Caicedo. But like I said, the difference is with Caicedo is he was always our priority target. Liverpool switched from their priority to going over to Caicedo, bidding double, which is basically effectively saying, Lavia, we don't want you anymore because we obviously are saying that we can get both. Liverpool have never come out and said that they're going to get both Caicedo and Lavia, and they were never going to do that. They were never going to be able to afford that because they need a centre back. So my understanding is kind of like, as soon as they went in for Caicedo, that was kind of like a FU to Lavia, and then we obviously have always had Lavia like as an option. So I don't know. It's a tough one. I feel like it's likely that is if we actually equal the bid that Liverpool put in, which is 60, but again, it's coming from a couple of sources, but not really many Liverpool sources. Like Paul Joyce, he's not said anything. I haven't seen anything from him. James Pearce, I haven't really seen anything from him. Melissa Reddy, who I was a bit back and forth with. I was like, you're not ready. You're not ready
now. Yeah, the way that she's been moving, she's in the bin.
I don't know if she's put anything out. So Yeah, Liverpool side are a bit quiet, and we are still saying that once we get Caicedo done, we're gonna go for Lavia. So until I see that we're gonna like remove ourselves from the table, anything can happen.
I'll tell you straight up and down. I don't even think we're going to need to bid 60 M's for Lavia. I really don't. Because Lavia looks like he's already made his decision. And on top of that as well, the secret scout, who, by the way, I've got to give him his props. He's been on point this transfer window. I've been looking very carefully at his account, and he doesn't speak for the sake of speaking either. He
Yeah,
doesn't do it for the interactions. Yeah, so that's another good thing for me. He's actually saying that Romeo Lavia to Chelsea soon. I actually quote tweeted it and said, it's pretty much done. From he says it, like there's certain people that I'll listen to. So from he says it, I've got a lot of faith that he's going to be joining the club. Now, obviously, that's the second part of the war between Chelsea and Liverpool, which they've miserably, as of now, lost. Do you know what I mean? But the first part was the Caicedo situation. Flipping hell. I got to ask you this, though, yeah? When you saw that, and then we got the Ornstein dagger, which we survived, by the way.
yes, we did.
Were you shitting bricks as much as I was?
I was flipping out, bro. I was flipping out because I just couldn't believe that we had got Sanchez in for, a solid amount of money. He's not a bargain, that's for sure. Until he actually gets back to the level that we've seen prior to the season just gone. He's not a bargain, a player that they didn't want to keep. So I said, wow, we're trying to smoothen the Caicedo deal, soften the Caicedo deal, and then we end up losing out to Liverpool inside 24 hours. It's just mad embarrassing. And for me, I was pissed, man. I was pissed because I said, listen, if you're not gonna get this guy, then you should have walked out of this deal a long time ago and found an alternative. But to go and persist with this target to the point now where we don't even have him for the opening day of the season, we don't even have a DM for the opening day of the season. You have to get him. You have to sign him. And when it was looking like Liverpool were going to get him, I was fuming because I know how transformative that is for Liverpool. That would have been a massive coup. You put Caicedo back next to McAllister as they were playing with Brighton, with those defenders, Konate, Van Dijk, with those fullbacks, bro, and Tsimikas ain't no slouch. With those fullbacks and those forwards, obviously the bench they'd need, to be looking at, have they got someone to replace him if he's injured? But in terms of the starting 11, bro, it's nuts. It propels them back into a title race. So for me personally, I was pissed, bro. And thankfully, though, it didn't mean anything, and it kept moving on. And now there's briefings from Liverpool that they're moving for Tchouaméni. Ornstein's just come out and said, he's rubbish that Tchouaméni's not leaving Real Madrid. So it's nice to see them flapping and floundering a little bit now, trying to piece together this. We've seen it in our own fan base, Tchouaméni and Valverde links.
Yeah.
You ain't getting these players.
Nope.
You're just not getting these players. Like, it's pure waffle. Real Madrid are rebuilding their midfield. They got Toni Kroos and Modric that are in their 30s that are going to be retiring in a year or two, or moving on to Saudi or whatever, or wherever they decide to go, America. They have got their understudies ready to go. They're not going to start letting them go to Liverpool, Chelsea. And this is two teams that are not even in Champions League as well. So, yeah, man, it's good to know that minimum we've got Caicedo and minimum we've got balance in midfield because it's necessary. The first half, with them little turnovers there, you can see it's necessary.
And you know what else I'll say as well on the Tchouaméni thing real quick is all summer I've been saying Tchouaméni's not going anywhere. He's not leaving. He's not leaving. Whatever rumors that you lot are seeing, please just stop taking it in because it's his dream to play for Real Madrid. And on top of that, Carlo Ancelotti has come out several times and said that he loves Tchouaméni and he doesn't want him to go anywhere. So once you've got those two in the equation, it's basically impossible. You know
bro,
what I mean?
Even if Carlo Ancelotti said that he wasn't a key player to play Toni Kroos in the 6, which I think we saw against Man City in the Champions League, that's not a good idea.
Yeah.
Who cares? Ancelotti's leaving next summer. He's going to Brazil. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, it's true.
So it's like they're not going to sell their 100 million euro asset because their manager that's leaving in the season doesn't rate him as highly as someone else. Like, they're going to wait to see if their long-term, manager, whoever that is, wants to build the team around Tchouaméni. You look at the balance of that midfield, they only have 1 6, and that is Tchouaméni. Modric is not a 6. Kroos is not a 6. Valverde's not a 6. Camavinga's not a 6. Some of them can play there because on the ball they're just that good. But in terms of defending, they're not going to be able to do what Tchouaméni can do. So it doesn't even make any sense for profile-wise for them to get rid. So yeah, man, it's just pure waffle. From the moment he went to Real Madrid, the Tchouaméni dream was dead. There's no point even thinking about taking him out of there unless he's dropped off. And then why would you want him if he's dropped off?
No, facts. And Flyers, real quick. I was with him like a couple weeks ago. Yeah. So listen, go in his chat and just type in Alien Labs, and he's exactly gonna know what you're talking about. Yeah, that's me and him had a good little session last time he was here. I am not going to lie. So trust me and him are cool. You get me? We're all right. There was another tweet, God of Amiri, saying here that I think getting Lavia is overkill to be honest. Now, here's the thing. I don't get this logic because it seems to be applied. But you pick and choose. People pick and choose which clubs can and can't do this. Because when Real Madrid do it, it's not a problem. When Manchester City do it, it's not a problem. When Manchester United used to do it back in the day, it wasn't a problem. When Chelsea used to do it back in the day, it wasn't a problem. Do we forget the options that we had coming off the bench? Those guys could walk into any of the top four teams. Why is it like you do not compete with a first 11? You compete with the squad. Every single player in your squad is important. The players off the bench now become even more important than they have been in the past. So the drop off from your first team choices cannot be too big. Can't have a massive gap because that's how you drop off later on in the season. Arsenal,
Mm,
case in point, one injury, it capitulates. Us, case in point, yeah, to a lesser extent. Reece James gets injured, the season's over. We can't keep going through this. Now
mm.
Reece James has got Malo Gusto behind him, who's a very good player, and he's going to show you guys, by the way. We
Very
know
good.
exactly. We know that the drop off from those two is not going to be too big. It's something that we can deal with. If we're in any kind of promising position, we can perhaps maintain that a little stronger than we could before. So this notion of having two top quality, potentially elite DMs, number sixes, whatever you want to call them in that position, I'm completely with it. I am fully with it. I'm happy to see both Lavia and Caicedo compete for the position. And also, as well, Matisse, from a
Mm,
tactical perspective, although I believe that we're not going to see this too much from Pochettino, but
mm,
from a tactical perspective, it opens you up to so many different possibilities. Because now, let's say, right, instead of playing the attacking mid and you want to see off a game against a team like Man City or Real Madrid or whatever, somewhere
mm,
down the line, you
mm,
just invert that. You substitute off your attacking mid. You play Lavia, who is a specialized DM. Then you've got Caicedo and Enzo, the pivot in front. So
mm.
it makes sense from so many angles. But I just wanted to know what your thoughts were on this whole thing.
I think it's not a priority for me in terms of I don't think the next most important signing is Lavia. If I was to go in order, I think we need a forward. I think it's clear that in Cuckoo being injured is losing your second, potentially third choice emergency option striker because we saw him play there in preseason, and you've lost your 10. So we've lost goals basically out of the team, and we need to put goals into the team. So that's why you're wearing that kit. Reminds me of a certain Kudus. Do you know what I'm saying? Brother, for me personally, I know we're looking at Olise, but Olise is injured and he's more of a creator than a shooter. Now, obviously, I'm here for creativity. I've been, drumming down creativity down people's throats for a good minimum a year now. And I'm all. You can never have too much creativity in the team. That's the first thing. You can never have too much creativity in the team. But if I was to choose between the two, I'd be looking at the guy that could potentially get us some goals in that 10 position, which we don't have, and can obviously still do the other things, technically receiving the ball in tight spaces. This is why I'm not putting Gallagher into the conversation, even though he can score. And again, can potentially go on the right-hand side as well. So he's just very positionally versatile, and he just gives us a couple of goals. And then if you put Kudus into the team and you then don't get a striker and you're going with Broja, I think a lot more people are a bit more calm now. They've got Jackson, they've got Broja, but they've got Kudus as well, who could get goals. And then they've got Nkuku coming back in January. So that's how I'd probably be looking at it. But it looks like we're going down the Olise route. I like Olise, so I'm not really fussed in terms of, at least I know he's a quality addition. But in terms of preference, I think profile-wise, I'd probably lean towards the guy that can score goals. And I would rank these as priorities over Lavia. But in terms of Lavia, if we was to go to a three-man midfield, they can all start. We saw Enzo playing higher up the pitch there in the last game. He looked really good. Lavia and Caicedo kind of protecting the defense and allowing Enzo to kick on even more and have Enzo could basically have a free role. If you've got Lavia and you've got Caicedo behind him, progressing the ball, first phase, winning the tackles, winning the duels, you've potentially got Enzo in a free role. And I don't want to make the comparison because obviously, I hope Enzo has a better overall club career. But you look at Pogba and the free role that he would have wanted. and 2 people backing him up. You could give Enzo that. And obviously Enzo's, oh, you're muted. Obviously Enzo's used to playing next to a Luis, and I'm not saying that Enzo has to be now moved forward, but it's an option. Like you said, it's an option for him if he wants to. If you want to go over 3-man midfield, you can do it. You can put Caicedo on the right side of a 3, Enzo on the left side of a 3, and Lavia in the 6, or even swap Caicedo and Lavia around, either or, and use Lavia as an 8. So it just gives you options. And it would be hilarious as well. You know, Eunice, I was talking to Eunice earlier. He's on violence. He wants to firmly mud Liverpool here with a double swoop. I've always said Lavia is a good player. And with the 3-man midfield, it gives chances then for Santos as well. He can potentially still get the game time. Leslie, listen, he came off the bench. I've not seen him in pre-season, so I can't make any conclusions. He might probably go out on loan to Strasbourg. I ain't got a problem with that. Because I haven't really watched him. If he does stay, no problem. If he goes, no problem. And in Gallagher, I'd still probably look to, if we get Lavia, I'd definitely look to take profit off Gallagher in that straight pure profit, 40, 50 million. I'd be here for it, even though he was brilliant yesterday.
Just going back to what you were saying about Kudus. And in fact, yeah, it's a good time to actually let's talk a little bit more about the whole Olise situation. I'll start with him because it all started when it was, you know, the Ryan Shirky sort of rumors were hotting up. Then it was Kudus and Olise came into it. And then when I saw it was those 3 options, I just thought for a second, logistically, what is the easiest move for the club here? The answer was definitely Olise. His brother's still at the youth academy. He's a next Cobham player technically as well. He knows the setup. He already lives in London and it's the Premier League. So, and it's not a ridiculous price tag from what we're hearing. So for me, that was the move that made the most sense. I love Olise. I really like him as a player. I think he's, you know, from a creative perspective, he's brilliant because we need a spark of creativity in the team, and he definitely doesn't disappoint on that side of things. Now, my dilemma is, when I look at it from a role and tactical perspective, because we're looking to bring him hypothetically as a number 10. We might see him on that right wing a couple times, but I'm hearing that primarily we want to use him as a number 10. Based on that principle, when I look at the profile of both him and Kudus, I have to more lean towards Kudus for several reasons. Number one, I feel that we're going to need to get more goals than just relying on Jackson in the team. Kudus is a very, very direct player, and he takes a lot of shots for a forward. He does have an eye for goal. Another thing is that outside of his attacking abilities, off the ball, Kudus is actually very good as well. And when you look at Pochettino, he likes players that work hard, good fitness. Kudus is a very physical player. In terms of going the other way and helping his team defend and track back, he does that very, very well. And this is why I'm sort of more leaning towards the Kudus signing from that tactical perspective. But I would be happy with either, but I just think that Kudus kind of fits the bill a little bit more. But what do you reckon, bruv?
No, I do. I agree with you. I think if we needed a right winger, then fantastic. Olise would be a great option because I can see Olise bringing the kind of creativity in the passing. And then you've got runners like Mudryk, Madueke, Sterling, who are more direct, who are more trying to get in behind. So he does bring balance from the options we have as wingers. But it's just the problem with that is that we need goals right now in the team as well. And it's not just, you know, creativity that we need. We need also people that can finish. Listen, Olise is a great ball striker. You know, we've seen him take great free kicks. We've seen him take, you know, really good shots, and he scored a few goals. It's just that he doesn't score a lot of goals. Now, in coaching again, you know, if he was to be coached by Pochettino, he might turn him into someone who can get more goals. But he does feel like he prefers to create and he prefers to, you know, link up. And you've seen his link up with Eze. It's been incredible. So if Olise comes, listen, I'll be very excited as long as he's not injured for very long, which I don't, you know, I would hope that if he's going to pass a medical, then he's surely not out for that long. But yeah, right now, for what I'm kind of looking at, especially if we're using a 10 in a 4-2-3-1, I'm looking at Kudus as probably the slight preference, definitely. But I wouldn't get both, no. I think we need to be very careful as a fan base not to bloat this squad again. Because it's very easy for us to get very excited and say, we're going to sign this guy, this guy, this guy, this guy. And in the moment, obviously, it's a lot of fun. But when we actually take it back now and think about the issues of last season, bloated squad, too many players to train, too many players to teach, too many players to instruct. Pochettino has made it clear he wants to have a 23-man squad, 24, 25 tops. You can't have a 25-man squad of just purely top players that you all rate, because that's just not gonna work. Some of those players won't even make the bench. So we need to be thinking about that a lot more as well, because at the end of the day, we're not trying to just sign players. That's half the fun. Maybe even not even half. That's 20% of the fun. The 80% is actually, okay, now it's time to win games. When the transfer window shuts, it's time to win matches. The next 7 games, I've seen 21 points in my head. That's how mad I'm on. I'm on a madness now. I've seen 21 points, bro. If you look at the fixtures, next 7 games, Wimbledon as well, obviously is there. We got to go through there, obviously. Bro, 21 points, bro. I'm not talking May. I'm just thinking I want to be, after those next 7 games, I want us to be, maybe top or just behind City if they win all their games. And just so I know that we've got points bagged up for when we come to tougher fixtures again and things start kicking off over Christmas. We know we've got a terrible Christmas record. So yeah, man, I just want to get off to a strong start, and I don't want to just bloat the squad out for no reason.
No, I agree with you. And with the both Kudus and Olise, I wouldn't do that personally. But although I know some of you might be thinking, well, you're fine with getting Caicedo and Lavia.
And unless we sell Sterling, we'd have to sell someone.
Yeah, exactly. That would make more sense. But people might think, well, you want Lavia and Caicedo. For me, it's apples and oranges. First of all, that role as well is very intensive in comparison to an attacking role. Like, your fitness has to be on a next level playing as a DM. Trust me, it's a very intensive position. That's not to disrespect other positions, but you just know over there you're going to pick up a lot more ground and you're going to be a lot more physical than you would be out there on the wings. So and also as well, we need to learn from history. Look at what we did with N'Golo Kante. When you over rely on one player that's key to your team and they run down, then your team's going to fall apart. So it's also good to have Lavia there in case of an injury, because we might not do the midfield free. You never know. So I think to have him there as backup would be good. But it's like I was saying, I'm not opposed to adding quality there in terms of like how we would have it with Caicedo and Lavia. But I think while we're also looking for a goalkeeper as well, we've got to be mindful of that. And, well, up until now, apparently Chelsea are happy to go with Breuer. But even with that, I think Chelsea have got an eye on the striker market and they're saying, you know what, there's nothing really realistic at the minute that's going to improve the squad. And I think at bare minimal, depending on our goal scoring situation, we might revise it in January because, other strikers might open up. And even if not, then next summer, because there are some strikers that may be on a come up. Benjamin Sesko looks very sharp. He's a player that looks promising. He might have a breakthrough season. We know Evan Ferguson. I know we don't want to go back to Brighton. A lot of us don't want to go back to Brighton, but he might have a very good season and Chelsea might have no choice but to go in for him. You know what I mean? So there are several other profiles that could come up. There might be contracts. There might be situations with contracts with other strikers. There might be fallouts throughout this season. Unforeseen circumstances can occur. So let's not really overforce it with the whole striker situation, because it's like you said, Matisse, overbloating this squad, it could be a problem. And what's even worse is overbloating the squad for knee-jerk reactions is going to hurt us long term. We're coming away from a situation where we've had problematic contracts with players. I'm not saying the players themselves were problematic, but just their contracts were to get them off the books. Let's learn from that lesson and let's be smart in our spending. We don't have to get everything right now. We can spread things out a little bit. The key thing is for us was getting certain faces out of the door. And as well, do not forget, we had to trim down the size of the squad. So we cannot lose sight of those things there. But it's nonetheless, though, it's a good start, though, Matisse. I'm not going to lie to you. I mean, even with the players that are not going to be featuring for the first team, the younger signings that we've gone for, what we've seen from them in pre-season, they seem to be ticking all the boxes for the promising young talents going forward. 100%. So, like, I mean, in terms of the work the scouts have done this summer and the players that they brought in, how do you feel about some of these young players?
I'm happy so far. Obviously, it's early days, so we've got a long season ahead of us. Do you know what I mean? Not even that long, because we don't even play that many matches. Do you know what I mean? But we're gonna see. Because the Liverpool one was a great start, I think, in terms of the performance. Obviously, the draw, nobody wanted to draw. And it would have been beautiful if when Mudryk rounded the goalkeeper there, cut back for Maatsen, smashes it in the back of the net, 2-1. We win our opening game and we set down a marker of we're serious this season. It's a shame. But I think the performance, especially in the second half, can be very encouraging to know that, listen, this is a proper team that's not going to be on some foolishness, because we've got a proper manager as well. But obviously we need to go against West Ham. We need to beat them, and we need to follow that up with another win, and we need to keep doing that. And those youngsters they've got to prove that when push comes to shove, against Aston Villa away, against West Ham away, against Brighton, that they can actually win those games, because we need to win those games this season. It's not good enough to go to those teams and say, oh, we're going to take a point. Nah, fuck that. We need to be winning. So it's a lot of tests to come, and obviously we're going to see. But at the moment, I'm very happy with the Jacksons and the guys that we didn't know too much about, the Santoses, because right now they're looking like they're going to be worth minimum double their value already, and we haven't even got started yet. So Jackson yesterday, man, he was so good. Do you know what I mean? I know he didn't take his chance, but you look at his hold up play, you look at his link up play. He's so intelligent on the ball. Ball retention is just A1. Doesn't give it away. He actually manages to skip past 2-3 people when he's faced with adversity. You'd think in those situations, when there's 2-3 people on you as a striker and you're isolated, yeah, he's probably going to be dispossessed and we're going to be back under pressure. This guy will draw a foul. He'll dribble past somebody. So yeah, man, this is why I don't want to mention Ivan Ferguson, because I want Jackson to be our top striker.
100%.
That's who I want him to be. It's as simple as that.
You know what I was thinking when I was watching Jackson in them tight situations, bruv? Yeah, even when he broke away and created that chance for Ukraine Bolt, fam. Flipping, I was like, what would Havertz do, fam? What would Havertz do in this situation? The amount of times we've seen this guy turn over possession, and it just felt like in such a short time, look how far we've come. And it was such a good feeling to see that. But I wanted to ask you, just going back to the goalkeeping situation. Now, obviously, Kepa's gone to Real Madrid. I'm very disappointed that there's no mandatory buy option. It is just a straight up loan. But Real Madrid are Real Madrid, so they will be covering 100% of his wages, which I guess is a good thing, getting those off the books.
Yeah.
But Robert Sanchez is the current goalkeeper at Chelsea Football Club. Now, a lot of people were saying, why did we sign this guy, me included? I didn't fully understand the situation at Brighton. Hearing he was third choice goalkeeper, there was a lot of red flags if you don't know the history as to why he became the third choice. But apparently it was an issue between himself and De Zerbi, a bit of a falling out. It wasn't anything to do with his ability or a dip in form. So it was nothing to do with that. So, but my question is this. If we were to turn around and say, we're going to sign a Keylor Navas, somebody who's coming towards their retirement, and we're going to trust Robert Sanchez, how would you feel about that currently?
I mean, at the moment, this season, I'm cool to have Sanchez in goal, I guess. I have no choice. But he's got to prove. He's got to prove that he's good enough to be number one. I think he made some big cross collections, which was good to see. He did make one dodgy pass that I didn't like, which was very unnecessary. But, maybe it's nerves. It happens. But just the overall consensus for me is that I need to see this guy step up this season and show that he is back to the level that, maybe Ben Roberts is harping on about. But also, not even just that level. You need to be better than that level, because that level wasn't Chelsea level anyway. That level wasn't, title chasing Chelsea level. That level was good team, good goalkeeper, maybe very good. But, we need world class. So I don't know what wages he's on. I haven't looked. The fee was, I guess, very Mendy kind of fee, Edouard Mendy kind of fee. So it's not something that rules us out for going for a top goalkeeper. We still have, obviously, Selena as well, the American keeper, who could potentially be something special. We don't know. We have to see how he does on his loan. So we may even have our next Courtois minus the snake in Belgium already. We never know. But we have to see. We have to see, because I'm one of these people. I didn't really say that this is the guy we should be looking at. I was a little bit tentative with this one. So we just have to see how he does and judge him, game by game, and see how it goes.
100%. And you know what? I saw an interesting report, but listen, caveat here, people, Chelsea's name was not mentioned in this at all, but we have previously been linked with the player. And AC Milan, apparently, it's not that Maignan rejected Chelsea as the reports were. It's just that they weren't happy with the 60 M's. They're looking at anything between 80 million and 100 million euros for this goalkeeper, Mike Maignan. Now, I understand given our history of spending so much money on Kepa and putting him on so much wages, a lot of people are reluctant to spend that kind of money on a goalkeeper. Now, my question to you is, let's say we meet this happens somewhere along the line in this window. Lukaku leaves, we get a decent fee for him. Gallagher leaves, we get a decent fee for him. Cucurella goes to Newcastle potentially on a mandatory loan of option.
Yep.
At that time, do you think it will be worth spending such an outlay for a keeper who, by the way, I think is probably the best in the world or in conversation for at the minute for a goalkeeper of his quality? Do we go for that move?
Yes. We must. Do you know what I mean? We must. We have to think about it, because what do we want to do next season? If we're going for one of the world's best goalkeepers, that tells me we want to win the league.
Yep.
And I don't think at this current stage we can sit here and say that we shouldn't be trying to aspire for that, because we've spent so much money. So, this season, we're in our first season with the manager. We don't know what signings. We're still going to probably make more signings. I'm thinking third place, is kind of like the highest we might be able to get in his first season, because obviously Arsenal put down the foundations last season. I'm not going to disrespect that. And Man City goes without saying. But Man United, Liverpool, we should be amongst them too, and we should be fighting for positions with those top 5-ish Champions League, 5th to 3rd. It doesn't really matter. But like I said, the more points, the better, and the performance, the better performance is obviously more encouraging for the season after. But then next, the season after this, if we attack that market again with some next mad, bruv, we have to be in a title race. We have to be in a title race, because it's like we're not moving like we're gonna take 5-6 years. Nor should we be. Bruv, life is too short. We don't have time. We don't have time for this 4-5 years building slow, bro. Yeah, we're gonna build. But we're gonna build this thing quick. Do you know what I mean? Look at the summer we've just had. We've cleared everyone, bro. What we've done in terms of outgoings this summer is meant to take clubs 3 windows. We've done it in 1. We've cleared everyone, almost everyone. We've got Lukaku to get rid, Ziyech to get rid, Hudson-Odoi to get rid, and probably maybe one other that I'm forgetting, I think. But those are the main 3. We've got to clear them off the wages as well. And then after that, you've basically changed and flipped the whole squad. You give, obviously, time to gel. You give time. This season is what that is for, to fully gel. Mudrik's first season, Madueke's first season, Jackson's first full season, obviously, first full season for these guys. Enzo, first full season. But once they've had this season to gel and to perform and to win and to be in a good position and to take a cup. I want to win a cup, bro. Carabao or FA Cup, I don't care which one. I want to win a cup. Go to Wembley and get that nasty record away from us as well. And then next season, you gelled. You've got your manager for 1 year. You got your style of play. If you're obviously going to go and make a couple of more additions again, brother, win. We're going for the win, bruv. I'm not saying we're going to do it, because Man City, you got to respect it, but we're going to compete. We have to compete. We have to be in the race. Facts. And I'm talking a proper race. I'm not talking flirting with it. I'm talking we're on them, bro. It's a proper race. It's minimum what Arsenal put together this season. So yeah, man, I'm on this. I'm on it, bro.
Nah, see, bro, I heard absolutely 0 lies there, bruv. I'm completely with that. Hey, listen, first of all, people, we've got 537 people in the building and we've got 166 likes. Hey, we've got to do something about that, man. Come on, get them likes up, man. Smash them thumbs up. I'm only just coming back. I've been off the algorithm for a bit. So right now I need the likes more than ever before. So make sure you give it a thumbs up. You get me? But yeah, I'm with it. Mike Magnan becomes available. And obviously we have those outgoings as well. Because remember, a massive part of this is, you see why I think Chelsea, on top of Lukaku's behavior, are so keen to get rid of him, is that he's on huge wages.
Yeah,
massive wages.
300 and something thousand, bro. It's crazy. 325,000, is it a week?
Yeah, something ridiculous like that. Yeah. I don't know. And to get him off the books, and get a quick 40 million for him. For me, at this point, I couldn't care less on the loss, and I don't think the owners do too, because the silver lining in this cloud is that he was bought under the old regime. So technically, he is not their guy. So to them, he is disposable. And let's see what happens over the next few weeks. We heard news that the scumbags, Tottenham, apparently were interested after selling Harry Kane to be
The,
buying.
the reporter that said that, bro, is a waffler.
I saw that shit, and I highly doubt that. I highly doubt that. But yeah, as long as I don't care whose problem he is, as long as he's not ours. Similar to how I felt about other players that has already gone, that have already left. But yeah, in terms of this season going forward, I'm definitely with you with the expectations. The next 7 games are definitely winnable. It's a bit of a blow to lose Christopher and Nkunku, but this is the position that we've put ourselves in. Yes, a player of that quality will be missed, but the drop off isn't going to be too big. And this is where we wanted to find ourselves. You know what I mean? So it's a good time to be a Chelsea fan right now. Big up Mop Pogba. Whoa. Oh no, I'm not on that anymore. I'm on StreamYard. My bad. We got Mop Pogba for the sticker. That's actually my first ever sticker. Do you know what I mean? Orange Soda is asking, how much is Caicedo getting a week? Can't be more than 150k. Now, from what I understand, Chelsea have a wage structure where players are not earning over a certain point. But there's obviously stipulations that come with that. Once we qualify for the Champions League and these competitions, they will be open to the more higher kind of wages. I don't know how true that is. And Matisse, maybe you can correct me there, but I've heard very vague information about this. Do you know what the situation is about the Chelsea wage structure?
The wage structure for me is obviously we're going to see what Caicedo is on. People are saying can't be more than 150. It's very much incentivized and heavily reliant on bonuses. That was one of the main things that changed, obviously, between Bowie and Egbali negotiating Mount's contract before the World Cup, and then when Stanley coming in after the World Cup and renegotiating and changing the entire contract, because we're trying to, and that's why we needed to clear a lot of the guys that hadn't signed under Todd Bowie as well, is because not only did we maybe not want to give them new contracts because they hadn't performed, like a Pulisic, etc., stayed fit, but also because their contracts didn't have those incentives and bonuses on them. We'd have to say to them, right, we're changing the wage structure. Are you going to be cool with that? And you're going to get a lower base. You know, Enzo Fernandez is on, like, I don't know, 120. We're going to do a lower base. And if we make Champions League, this is what you're going to make. If we win this, this is what you're going to get. If we win this, this is what you're going to get. And it's better to do them in that kind of way because, listen, Champions League, if we get past this round, maybe this is the bonus, etc. Because we're going to get prize money coming in. We're going to get extra TV revenue money coming in. So you can then get more money. But if you don't get past those rounds and if you don't perform and if you don't qualify for Europe, we can't be paying you 300k. We can't be paying you 250k because you're not putting us in 200, 350k kind of positions. You're not putting us in front of that kind of money to take it in. So it makes much more sense. It motivates the players. It means that they have to perform and they have an extra motivation to perform because if they perform, they get more money. And it stops us from having a situation where we're underperforming, but people are getting paid crazy money. So yeah, man, it makes sense. And it's what Liverpool did with loads of their players. They were all down on bonuses and all that kind of stuff. And then when they come for their peak level contract now, they had to choose between Salah and Mane because both of them were getting underpaid for the performances they were putting in. And they just chose Salah and they left Mane to go to Bayern Munich. So yeah, for me, it's got to be like that, bro. The wage bill's getting slashed and it has to because the wage bill was nasty before. It's disgusting. For a team that don't win Premier Leagues, bro, that wage bill was nasty.
Yeah, exactly. Well, it's Nathan Gissin, who, by the way, has got a lot of unfair stick, man. He does a good job. People calling him Nathan Gissin. Come on, man. Allow it.
I actually put out a tweet at like 3:00 last night because I seen that 2 days ago he said that the bid was in for Caicedo 115 million. He said it before anybody else.
And it was. It actually was.
And it was. So that's why I brought that to light because a lot of people were a lot of people. That tweet got 2.2 million impressions.
Yep.
And everybody was kind of quoting him saying, you're guessing, you don't know what you're talking about. I don't even know Nathan like that. I don't speak to Nathan. I know Felix. I know most of the other guys.
I've had an interview with Nathan before. He's a very, very respectful dude, man. Young guy, but he's very ambitious and he's got his head screwed on, definitely.
When people are quick to obviously drag him, cool, because nobody backed up his bid that night or the following morning. But now when it's cool come out, this is exactly what we're paying. you know. So you got to give him his flowers. He was on it from day one. So
Yeah.
yeah, man, 100%.
Absolutely. Listen, I don't claim to be in the know. I don't know things other people don't. But these two particular transfers, in terms of Caicedo and Lavia, I was hearing things outside the social media, um, and he's been bang on. Like, I can't really sit here and say that he hasn't. So that's why I say this. But he's also tweeted, if all goes to plan, Chelsea are expected to announce the signing of Moises Caicedo this afternoon. Caicedo has completed his medical earlier today. So it's safe to say that he is pretty much a Chelsea player. Most of the outlets have tweeted it. I believe also Fabrizio, who has been getting a lot of stick, apparently, who's a paid agent for Chelsea Football Club, according to Liverpool fans. Yeah, I think David Ornstein's tweeted. Don't quote me, but I have vaguely remember seeing him on one of the tweets, something like that.
Yeah.
So that looks definitely to be done. I'm very excited about that. But before obviously we get into more of that, JTI, big up yourself. Thank you for the super chat. Guni takeover. Big up Guni and Matisse and the chat all day, every day. Big up yourselves in the chat. And if you're just joining as well, I'd appreciate the thumbs up, especially now. You lot know I'm not really too massive on asking for the thumbs up and that. Not that I'm against it, but since I've just come back, I'm going to need you lot for that algorithm. So if you're really feeling the content and that, make sure you give it a thumbs up.
Yeah. The American account, your Chelsea account just followed me just now. The USA one.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Listen. People, this December will be 10 years. Yeah. So I am still 100% British. I am now American by association. You get me? Yeah. So we keep it British at all times. My accent has stayed intact. Yeah, I sound like I just got off the plane yesterday from London, keeping it British at all times. You don't know, yeah. Big up the Americans, though. Big up everybody, regardless of where you're from. You get me? But yo,
I feel like I got a link now. I might DM them, ask him if Lavia's coming.
Hey,
you know what? Yeah, do you know what I love about our club right now? All of our guys, and this is why we need to be so cautious about. Like, obviously, we got to cut out what happened last year, which was all the tribalism and bullshit. The players are, hopefully unanimously, going to be liked. I know people are getting onto Sterling, but he was actually a lot better in this game with Reece James on that right hand side. So hopefully he keeps improving. But we got Poch on Instagram. He's putting up stuff after the game. It's great. We got his brother on Instagram. We got Jesus Perez on Twitter as well. He's on there. Don't know why I don't know why I was following him before, because I didn't actually know he was linked. I don't know what I thought, like who I thought he was, but I didn't remember he was linked to Poch. But he's on there. He's on Twitter. We've got Win Stanley on Twitter. We've got everybody's on there. Like, who else? Todd Bowie, obviously we know he's been in all over the place on there as well. And I think Daniel Finkelstein, is it? Finkelstein, he's on there. So it's like we got good access. My point is, so let's not abuse that and lose that, because yeah, man, it's good to see that they're accessible. They're a lot more transparent than obviously what we're used to. We obviously don't need them rocking up saying we're going to beat Real Madrid 3-0, but apart from that, good.
Yeah, but this Caicedo, man, and the thing is I want to talk about the knock-on effect that Caicedo is going to have with the partner next to him now. Off the back of what was, I can only say, was an elite masterclass of a midfield performance from Enzo Fernandez. Matisse, you're so good at explaining this. The way you articulate football, I think, is definitely one of the best out there. So I'm going to let you do the honors to talk to us about how Caicedo is definitely going to help Enzo go to that next level potentially, man. And also a question will be thrown in there as well. Do you think we're going to see more of those performances like we saw the other day from Enzo?
Yeah, I mean, bro, if you looked at Caicedo at Brighton, I haven't been, and I think I said it to you. I think it was you. I said it to you, but I haven't been this like pushy on getting someone since probably Tchouaméni at Monaco, because when you take a look at Caicedo in this Brighton team, what he was doing last season, the amount of pressure they're under in the first phase to receive the ball in tight spaces and pop it off with 1-2 touches, they were playing a standard of football that can only really be bettered by City and Arsenal. And you could argue that they were maybe even more entertaining than City last season. So they were unbelievable to watch. And if you can do that in the first phase in that team, then obviously when we're trying to do it now, you're going to have that experience and the know-how. And I don't want Enzo sitting this deep. We said it last season. We don't want to see Enzo as a 6 because he's able to play that final pass. He's able to take shots. We just haven't got to see it. We obviously saw it at the World Cup. So to be able to give him a little bit more freedom to move forward and to just give our attackers a lot more of this risk-taking kind of mentality where we are confident in ourselves. We're going to take people on. We're going to try and create chances. We're going to get people forward. To do that, you need somebody behind you that you know is going to be able to mop up. He's going to need help. You're going to tuck in a fullback, maybe make it a 5 with the 3 defenders, you know, and you're going to make sure that you're not just opening up sesame and asking Caicedo to do some next level covering, but he can cover the ground. His tackles and interceptions are top. And then on top of that, you've got someone that's press resistant that can pass. I point to the pass that he made against us at the Amex, where he played that pass down the left channel in between our right back and centre back. And then it was pulled across and they scored. And again, you know, line breaking pass. You have to be able to do it in that Brighton team. So McAllister's average position is kind of what I'd want to see from Enzo. And Caicedo's average position was a bit deeper. And he's very intelligent. He's young. He inverted at right back at the Emirates, you know, to lock up Martinelli. It's just, this guy is just, he's just a quality player, man. And for me, I ain't got no doubts. I'm just very, very impressed with what I've seen from him in such a short space of time. It's a shame we didn't know about him when we were scouting in South America. Now, maybe we could have got him for 5 million, you know what I mean, a couple of years ago. But what can you do?
Manchester United must be kicking themselves because they were in a prime position at one point to get him for 6 million euros, bruv.
Yeah.
But what Brighton done has been nothing short of remarkable from a business perspective. And this is the thing, right? You see the player that they're rumored to be replacing him with, Gordon Duaf. In a couple of seasons, he's going to go for the same, potentially even more. Evan Ferguson, he's going to go for the same or potentially even more than that. This club, right? Listen, bad blood is pretty much over now. We finally got your player. I'm specifically talking about the Brighton bubble. This guy was giving it lemon all flipping transfer window. They're not gonna get Chelsea. I hope Liverpool and Brighton collude to make sure they don't. Well, we've got him, but I'm gonna say this about their club: their recruitment is A1. Yeah. Definitely, it is the best in the league and potentially even the best in the world, man. And the way that they've done this is just nothing short of remarkable, man. Little Brighton to come up and do this, fair play to them. Yeah. Fair play to them. So I don't really think them losing Caicedo is going to hurt them too much, to be honest with you. You lot are going to see Gordon Duaf, if they do sign him, get that over the line.
Bro, Billy Gilmore.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Listen, Billy Gilmore, I want him to have his breakout season. I really do. I hope he does. He's been playing in preseason. I'm very impressed with João Pedro as well. He came on against us, caused a lot of problems, created a few goals. Matoma's going to do what he does. You know, and Ciso's going to do what he does. They're a good team, man. They're going to be fun to watch next season. Now that the beef is done, now that the beef is settled, we still overpaid. I want to make that clear. Win Stanley, there's definitely got to be binoculars on him. Not saying that he needs to be sacked. I'm not saying Win Stanley needs to be sacked because clearly the recruitment strategy has been good and him and Lawrence work well together. And I think sometimes we have to understand that the work dynamics and the working relationships are very important. Everybody's got to get along. You know, we saw Christopher Vavell. He may be better than Win Stanley and maybe this position that he's currently in terms of negotiating. And we don't know. But Vavell wasn't getting his airtime. He wasn't getting his thoughts across and he wasn't fitting with what we're doing in terms of the overall group. So Win Stanley and Lawrence Stewart seem to be working well together. But maybe Win Stanley just needs to focus on the scouting and, you know, the suggestions of the players and the recruitment and less so on the contracts and the negotiations for the bids, because clearly for the second time in a row now for a massive deal, not the little, you know, not the little Washingtons, you know, the proper big deals that need big attention. It's the second time Egbali and Todd Boehly have had to get involved, and we shouldn't have had to pay 115 million. Let's be honest. That's ridiculously overpriced. On top of the fact that there's also a sell-on clause in that deal as well. So it really is one of those ones where we got it done and it just proved the point that we really wanted the player this whole summer that badly. But it's a terrible kind of overall package in terms of what we've ended up getting him for is not good business. We didn't get a good deal here. We got a bad deal and we had to just suck it up and pay because, you know, poor kind of strategy, I guess, going for Lavia maybe is what provoked Liverpool.
No, 100%, man. I agree with you. And I don't think that Winstanley should be sacked. I think he should perhaps have that role of negotiator stripped from him and perhaps have somebody a bit more capable than he is take over that
Yeah.
role.
Yeah.
Because again, this is a deal that's been dragging out through the whole of summer, and we were this close to embarrassment, you know what I mean? And that was, I don't think we can continue to do this, because the grace that we have in this situation is that the player was adamant that he wanted to play for Chelsea, and not all top targets later on down the line are going to have the same mentality as Moises Caicedo. So we need to be quicker in getting these deals done. You know what I mean? But big up Felix Takashi. I would play Olise in the number 10 for creativity with Sterling and Mudryk on the wing. Zacharian would have been perfect as a replacement for Nkunku while injured. Well, Zacharian, as it stands, looks like he'll be going to Real Sociedad. So can kiss that dream goodbye. He's definitely a kid that looked very talented. He looked like an absolute creative monster. But let's see his development now. He's in a bit more of a he's in a better league now, a more technical league over in La Liga. So let's see how he does. Because gone.
I wanted him to go to Strasbourg. That would have been not even to come to us, just to go to Strasbourg. I think that would have been good.
No, 100%.
Then he's under our umbrella, but there's no pressure for us to outlay and put money in it for our own. Obviously, for the Chelsea, limited company side, there's no need for us to put money into that player. Let Strasbourg, their budget, do that. If he develops, you get him. If he doesn't, you sell him, and that's no problem. Or you just keep him at Strasbourg and they can do what they want. Yeah, which I think we got to do more often. We got. I'm sure that's the plan, but we got to keep doing that. It's not every single talent we see we need to pay. We got a club now under our umbrella, and we're gonna get another club hopefully from Portugal under our umbrella, and not only loan those players, because we can only loan I think 3 players to one club at one time. Also get those clubs to sign the talents that we like, but we're not necessarily going to use. So then we don't have to put our money into it, but we have a connection with that club where we can potentially do a deal if we need to later down the line. So that's the way I see it to get it done.
Well, says Joe D Boy says West Ham are in for Kudus, and that is true. I think I saw Romano say something about that as well. Now, with this Kudus situation, is going to be interesting because I'm going to liken this a bit to the situation with Brighton, because they were very heavily linked with him and they wanted to get the deal under wraps a little quicker if reports are to be believed. I think Kudus is also going to make West Ham wait, because he knows that there's going to be other top clubs that are looking at him. Obviously, Chelsea looking at him. Don't rule out Manchester United, the relationship there with Ten Hag as well. And there might be other clubs in the Premier League or other leagues that might be interested in him as well. So I think this one is going to take a bit of time, because it's going to come down to the player wanting to assess his options. But it's definitely going to be interesting, because I think if he accepts the West Ham the West Ham offer, then we're probably not in for him, and it's going to be more of a stronger indication that we're going to be going in for Olise. But if he does hold on for his decision, there might be a chance that Chelsea are thinking this through and might actually go for Kudus. They might be looking at this goal scoring situation and think, it might not hurt to have another player to get a goal threat in another position outside the striker to perhaps, potentially relieve the pressure from Nicholas Jackson.
Yeah. I think as well, for Kudus, obviously we know that he wanted a release clause in his contract at Brighton, and they obviously rejected that. So the talks broke down. I would be shocked if he didn't ask for exactly the same thing at West Ham. Both of the teams qualify for Europa League. Same level of club he'll probably be thinking. Obviously they finished poorly in the league last season, and Brighton play way better football. But in terms of objectives, they both basically achieved the same thing. So I think he'll ask for a release clause, and then if West Ham give him one, then it's more likely that deal gets done. If he doesn't, then. But I agree with you. I think he'll wait. It makes no sense to rush into any decision. Ajax are a massive club. I don't think it's not like as if no one's going to come in for you later on. So, but it seems like our attention is towards Olise. It does seem like that. I mean, that's what is being reported. So, yeah, 45 million, I think, something like that.
And obviously, before the stream ended, the Liverpool fans had to definitely turn their head. Lavia is coming to Merseyside. At this point, you lot are doing it to yourselves. I'm not even going to lie. I actually got to a point on the social medias where it's like, there's not even a point responding to them, because time is just going to do it to him. Do you know what I mean? So if that's what you think, You get me? I'll give you a thumbs up, but we're confident over here. I reckon Lavia gets done as well. So yeah, man.
Another Belgian journalist has said all is pointing towards Chelsea move for Lavia, but it's not done yet.
I love to hear that. I reckon we're going to get the deal done. Now the question is for Liverpool, who are you going to go for? Because I don't think you're going to get Tchouameni. Sangare would be a very underwhelming signing for me. I've got the red flag for me is that
Paulini is injured as well, shoulder injury.
There you go, and he wouldn't even go for cheap either. So like
they're going to get charged a king's ransom. They've shown their hand now by putting in that 110 million pound bid. What they've done is they've shown everybody in Europe that they've got money and that they want to spend big on this position if they have to. So now everybody's gonna charge them. So this whole like notion of getting somebody on the cheap, and it's gonna have to be someone completely unknown, because if you're going for one of the obvious names, the Cores, the Paulinias, you're gonna have to pay minimum 70 million.
Oh, 100%.
Minimum.
I'll throw two names out there for Liverpool. If Liverpool was smart, they would hijack the go on the DUAF deal. And if Liverpool had any balls, they'd go over to South America and get Federico Redondo and risk it. I would fully do that. I think he's going to be an absolute star. But obviously, we got to see if that converts over in Europe. But I definitely think he's got the tools to be a top DM. Will Liverpool do it? Will they have the initiative? We'll wait and see, because if they don't, I know Brighton definitely will. And there's probably clubs sniffing around Federico as we speak anyway. But on that note, people, make sure you give the video a thumbs up. Once again, give the videos a thumbs up. If you're watching after the live stream as well, give the video a thumbs up. Let us know your thoughts down there in the comments as well. Hit that subscribe button as well. Let's get this channel back on track. Matisse, thank you very, very much for joining us. Obviously, I see you doing big things over there with the Big Six, your own channel and stuff. I actually got to meet you for the first time as well.
Yeah. That was brilliant. I dropped a glass.
I remember that. I remember that.
That was a quality link up, man. That was a good vibe.
You lot look like you had a really good time, man. And once again, congratulations for was it?
It's a shame we couldn't do the interview thing. We were gonna have a good nice video, but obviously I was never home.
Yeah,
I was never home on time. Do you know what I'm saying?
Work for me was absolutely killing me. But let the peoples know what you've got coming up on your channel, or what you've already got up on your channel that you'd like them to see.
MAH, guys, All You Can Eat Chelsea was today. So if you're unfamiliar, we decided to drop it early this week instead of on the Thursday, because listen, everything's happening right now. So we just went in early doors. Battle of the North is collaborating today with London Clubs Carnage for the first and probably last time. It's a once off special, because we got plans for London Clubs Carnage soon, that are going to be coming out soon. So it's just a one time put together of Lawless and Hussam and Flawless and Daps and obviously Dan as well, and myself. So it's a 6-man panel and it's just a once off. So that show is going to be nasty. So you need to be there. It's live at 6 o'clock. We obviously have Lawless, who's thinking he's going to get Kudus. We've got Hussam, who looks like he's going to lose out on Lavia. We got Haaland propaganda, which is going to come back to bite Hussam as well for that. So we got a lot going on there. So make sure you lock in. That's at 6 o'clock live. And the videos are coming. The videos are going to get dropped as well, because I've been doing a lot of streaming. I don't know how many hours I've put in the last couple of days, but we're going to be putting out more videos soon, because we need to balance it out again.
Yeah, facts. You've been going mad with the streams, but the work rate, I've got to respect it, man. What time do you lot film All You Can Eat Chelsea again? Is it 10 a.m.?
Yeah, it's early. It's 10 a.m. or 11. It's because Miz is in Australia. Okay. So, and then the one time we had you on was when we did it at night, which was just like, we don't usually do it at night. And then Bubba as well from India, but sometimes, very rarely, we get it done at night, because then it manages.
Well, I might have to.
But when it's night, that's when I hit you up and be like, "Yo, this is more your time." Yeah,
listen.
But you're thinking you might have to wake up. No,
yeah, bro. Listen, you see when we get that, here we go for Caicedo, and we get that for Lavia. I will do the 5 a.m. thing. Like that's gonna be 10
we've done the Caicedo one already, but Lavia, yeah.
Hey, listen, I'll pull it up and bring it back on the Caicedo vibes as well, bruv. It's never too late for that. But people, big up yourselves. Thank you very much for joining on the stream. Big up every single one of you. Much appreciated, everybody that contributed in the chat. Thank you for the super chats. Thank you for your subscriptions. And please don't stop smashing the thumbs up, people. And until tomorrow, I'll be seeing you. Actually, Carefree Lewis tomorrow, I think. Then I've got Lee Gunner on Wednesday and a couple others during the week. So make sure you stay tuned to the channel. Bless up, people. Bless.
Big up.
Gareth Southgate out.